Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about and actually show you my syllabus, my scope and sequence, and our course description for our 6th grade year for the 2019-2020 school year. Now that my son is in middle school, I'll go ahead and put a card on top right now that you can click on and watch a few videos on my plans for my son during his middle school years. But now that my son is officially in middle school, there are some specific things that I want to do during the next 3 years. The first thing is, for our social studies, I definitely want to integrate all the different courses together. So for social studies, that comprises of human and world geography, world history, African American history in the United States history, and U.S. government, and some multiculturalism as well, or humanities. So I want to integrate all those things in a specific sequence, and I'll go over scope and sequence as well for my social studies. That will take him from 6th through 8th grade. And the goal is at the end of 8th grade year, he will have earned a few high school credits, since we're taking an incremental approach to the subjects that I just mentioned under the umbrella of social studies. Okay. And I will dive into what I mean specifically for that in a separate video. But again, today I just wanted to show you and talk about our 6th grade year syllabus, our course descriptions, and also the scope and sequence. Okay, so before I show you, let me just give you a few definitions. Okay, so when I say course, I am specifically talking about the class. Okay, so for social studies, there are several courses. Geography is a course. African American Studies, which is separate, is a course. African American History, which is a part of our social studies, is a course. Math is a course. Science is a course. English Language Arts and Composition is a course. A course is nothing more than a path or a sequence of classes that the student will take. And the definitions that I'm giving you, you may find them to be accurate or inaccurate. That's totally up to you to do your own research, but I'm just giving you the information based on my understanding of each and how we are doing it here in our household, okay? When you hear the word curriculum, curriculum is the content, what the child is learning, the resources, the textbooks that is going to be used to teach that specific course, okay? When I say the word syllabus, I'm specifically talking about a narrative or a description or a summary of topics within the course. Hopefully that makes sense. So the syllabus will give you a summary of all the topics that will be taught in the class, okay? It will also outline class schedule, expectations. It will also provide any projects, any major assignments, any major coursework, due dates that you want the student to remember. All that is within the syllabus. And again, I am doing this every single year for my son from 6th grade all the way out to high school. He will get a syllabus for every class, and he will also get a course description for 6th through 8th grade, and he will have a high school course description, which will be inclusive of all the available courses that we're going to do within our homeschool for his high school years. And of course, that will be updated every single year based on his interest. As he becomes interested in things, I'll add those course descriptions on there, and we'll move on with that. A course description is a narrative too. It has a lot of information. It'll provide you prerequisites. Prerequisites mean, what does the child have to take before they take this course? As an example, before the child takes chemistry, as an example, they must have had pre-algebra, as an example, okay? Before the child takes physics, or while they're taking physics, they should have taken pre-cal, or they're currently taking pre-cal. Before they can take, English Composition 3, they must have taken 1 and 2. Before you take Spanish 2, you should have taken Spanish 1. Those are prerequisites, the courses that one should have taken prior to taking a current course that he or she may be interested in. I hope that makes sense. The course description gives you a narrative of what they will learn. What are all the topics that they will learn, that the instructor will teach for that particular course. It also will include credit hours. Are they going to earn any specific credit hours? It'll include the curriculum that will be used. Okay, so for me, in our course description, that's where I put what textbooks we're using, what resources we're using. I put the ISBN numbers. I may put a link to the web page for that particular resource. But the course description will tell anybody, my student took this class, and here's a description of what they learned in this class, to include if they will receive credit, to include if there were prerequisites, to include resources that we used, okay? The course description is really important because if you, especially in high school, for college transcripts, for high school transcripts, for college entrance, they may ask you for a course description, and you can get your course descriptions from the actual curriculum that you're using. You can look online and find out different topics that will be taught in the specific class that you're teaching, or the course that you're teaching for your student. You can put together your syllabus and your course description by just going through the table of contents for the curriculum you're using, and you can just do a search online for general topics. So for example, Algebra 1, what would one learn, or what should one learn in Algebra 1, physics, chemistry, biology, world history, pre-algebra, whatever. You can do a Google search on that and then find the best narrative, make it your own, and create these documents. So let's go ahead and dive on into what ours look like. So within my son's binder, agenda planner binder, I have given him his syllabus. If you listen to a prior video, during the first week of homeschool, that's when I go over all this stuff with him. He'll spin the wheel, and if it lands on ELAR and writing as an example, what we'll do is I'll pull out the syllabus, I'll pull out the course description, he'll pull out the curriculum, he'll peruse the curriculum, we'll talk about it, and we will actually read the syllabus together out loud, making sure that he understands the expectations and he understands what he will learn, and he can ask whatever questions that he has, and we'll, I'll answer that, and we'll move on to the next subject. He'll spin the wheel again, and then if it lands on math, we'll do the same thing. So here is the syllabus, and I did put it in different colors on what's called stock paper, or that thick kind of paper, stock card paper, I don't know, but the paper is thick, and I did use different colors just to make it fun and appealing for him, and I'll go through each one of these, so don't worry, I will go through each one. So let's go ahead and pull the first one out. And let's talk about it. And I always put the date that I last revised the document or printed it or did it for him, so that I know if there were changes that needed to be made, I know I made them already. And you will notice that I had him sign when he received it, and also sign his name, so that We both knew he read it, he understood it, he signed it, which is our commitment to one another, and we move on from that, okay? So if you find any errors, please, that's fine with me. I'm not perfect. You may find errors in what you're going to read, okay? So I give a course overview, which says, what does this class include? What are the different subtopics or topics we'll discuss in this course? And as you can see, it says this course will cover reading comprehension, grammar, vocabulary, spelling, writing, penmanship, rhetoric, logic, and literary analysis. The topics covered in this course will also be integrated in social studies and African American studies. As you can see, there's one typo here. It should say African/African American. But guess what? I'm not going to fix that, because when we had our conversation, I found that error. I verbally corrected it. He understands. I made a note within my file so that in grade 7, when I print out his syllabus, the correction will have been made. This next part basically explains to him how he will learn, the method, the approach that I will use for this particular class. And then I dive into the learning objectives. What are the goals? What do I want to ensure that he receives from this class? And I'll go ahead and go down the list. So for the 6th grade year, we're going to be very heavy in writing. During his 5th grade year, we were heavy in grammar, and we're definitely going to continue grammar throughout the middle school years, but the focus will definitely be on writing. All types of writing, okay? And then we dive into the schedule. I ask him to refer to his schedule, and let me show you that now. This is the schedule that we will have for the 2020-2019 school year, and it's again, and again, you see the date. This is the date that we last updated it. And this can change if the block schedule is not working, if life happens and this is not working well for us, then we will change it. And I will do another video on our schedule, but I just wanted to show it to you. And then we go into course expectations, grading, and I'll show you that in a separate video, our grading rubric, assignments. Assignments are continued. It tells him that you will use, I'm reading the first bullet here. You will use Google Classroom to retrieve, download assignments, post weekly class participation responses, read class announcements, reminders, and due dates, retrieve class syllabus, etc. Google Classroom will be the one-stop shop for class information, okay? And it will also serve as our repository for all information. Second bullet says you will use Seesaw to submit assignments. Seesaw will serve as your student portfolio of work. So that just tells him Google Classroom is where he's going to go to pull his assignments, look for due dates, look at reminders. All the syllabus that we'll go through today have also been uploaded. So if he's online, he doesn't have to go and look in his binder to find something. He has it available to him on the site as well. And then we go into curriculum, and I refer him to the course description, which we will also look at in this video. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just show you the rest of the syllabus that I have. let's look at our course description for the year. Again, he will get a course description for his 7th grade year and his 8th grade year. And then I'm in the process of creating a course description for high school, okay, that he can use throughout high school, which is the most important one because that is what will be attached to his transcript, report card, just in case if he decides to go to college, those will be available for that as well. So here is just a basic summary table. You will see a course number, which is just an acronym for each course that I created. We'll use the same acronyms all throughout his schooling. The subject, so for math, this year he's doing Introduction to Algebra, which is basically pre-algebra, and it will be honors. For me, I put a course as honors if the course load will be heavier and if he will be learning more than just what the curriculum has set for him. So in this Introduction to Algebra course, he will not only learn pre-algebra, but he will also dive into some Algebra 1 and some geometry, just introductory. He will have a few projects and he will have a heavier course load or more expectations. So that's why I put it as honors. Again, it's for grade 6 and there are no credits that will be earned, meaning high school credits that will be earned. So when you're looking at credits on my course description, that is specifically talking about high school. Will he earn high school credit? Now look at the social studies, SS. I have the geography, world history, U.S. history, and government. If you will notice in the grade column, it says 6, 7, and 8, which means, like I said earlier in the video, for our social studies, that will be an integrated course that will take an incremental approach from 6th through 8th grade. The hope is at the end of 8th grade, he will have earned a credit in all of those, in some of those courses. Right now for 6th grade, again, the column that says credit, there are no credits that will be earned for 6th grade. Now for 7th grade, you may see half a credit within the credit column because that's when we're going to start applying high school credit to the courses that he takes. As I mentioned before, in a course description, you have your grade identified. You have your prerequisite. For this course, for pre-algebra, the prerequisite is middle school math. Has the child learned the middle school math concept? Do they understand their fractions, all types, integers, positive, negative numbers, area? Have they mastered or do they understand middle school math? If so, they should be ready for pre-algebra. In our case, we are. Any credit? None. What's next? What is he going to take after pre-algebra? This is like scope and sequence. He's going to take Algebra 1 in the 7th grade. And it just goes and gives you a description of the course and all the topics that will be taught. And again, we talk about the textbooks. What resources are we using this year? And I put links and or ISBN numbers. I'll go ahead and slide down and show you the rest. This is science. Science textbooks that we'll use this year and resources. I'm moving down to English, Language Arts, and Composition, which is our writings also included in that. If I'm going too fast, please just take a screenshot, pause the video, and read. and I will do a separate video where I will show you our main curriculum. We're in social studies, geography right now. So when I say main curriculum, when you're looking at these resources or textbooks that we're using, it doesn't mean we're using these every single time we meet for the subject. We're in world history right now for social studies. These are just the textbooks and resources that I'm using as our foundation or our spine to help build my own curriculum. Or he may use a hodgepodge of all these resources and textbooks for unit studies or for specific topics for that particular course. We are now in U.S. history and government. And for middle school, U.S. history and U.S. government is one course. And he will earn credit in probably the 10th grade, one for U.S. history and one for government, because I will separate the course out and will dive into detail in each one to include economics in high school. So he'll earn those credits while he's in high school. This here's African American history and African American studies. Our African American history in the United States is under social studies, but our African studies is a separate class where we'll focus on Africa specifically and the Caribbean islands. This here are the electives. Under electives, this will continue from 6th to 8th grade. So all the things that we'll focus on and take the incremental approaches or unit studies. We might do one, in a quarter. We might do it in a semester. They just depend. And I put some notes here so I don't forget in terms of how long we're going to take for each of these sets of electives and how many credits he'll earn and when he'll earn them. And then this is just a brief summary so I don't forget. And this will be in all of his middle school course descriptions where, as of right now, if everything goes as planned, these are all the credits that he will have earned in middle school that will be on his high school transcript when he enters the 9th grade officially. And again, if he decides or if we decide he needs to go back to public school for whatever reason, these course descriptions will be given to the school along with his report card and middle school transcript so that we can see how many of these credits they'll allow him to transfer into high school or middle school or, wherever he is at that time. Okay. So I hope that made sense, guys. I hope this was of benefit and I hope this was helpful. I just wanted to show you our middle school process in terms of ensuring that he has a syllabus, a course of study, curriculum.